Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Dots Audio. I haven't done these in a while, and to be fair, not in a long time. But I have come back with a new whole length 3 different books for us to read. Isn't that exciting? And not only that, but I'm starting off with a very classic story, Pinocchio. Not only that, but during this month, the live action Pinocchio of Disney came out, and I recommend you go check it out. But for now, we're going to be reading this book, and throughout the whole month, we'll be checking in on a few other Pinocchio stories ourselves. Yak will be reviewing the Jim Henson Pinocchio. I'll be reviewing this beloved book right here, and then Wacko will be reviewing the guest of honor, the live-action Pinocchio. But for now, let's check out this book called Pinocchio and His Puppet Show Adventure. This is a vintage Disney book by the wonderful world of Disney's Wonderful World of Reading. Here's the front with Pinocchio and Jimmy Cricket trying to stop him from wandering off, and the little village. And here's the back, and it has a few things to say with Mickey and Dumbo. Disney's Wonderful World of Reading. This series is a compilation of new series and adventures, a special adaptations of the Disney classics. Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Dumbo, Peter Pan, and all the other Disney favorites, all together are insisted in every youngster in exploring in the wonderful world of reading by using simple vocabulary and example to new versions to fully explain the text. These books have been assigned to encourage youngsters to read by themselves. So, before I want to read this book to you, I want to say that this book is very different compared to the original movie. It tackles the story in the beginning, but also talks about other adventures that he previously had before he became a real boy. I'll put that out there for you, that he doesn't look like a real boy yet. So, this story will not be the same as the original. And not only that, this book is kind of shortened, so it won't mention everything in the story, and it may be a different adventure than what we previously know about in Pinocchio. So, let's continue and take a look at how different it is from the story we know and love. As you can see on the first page, there is Pinocchio dancing. And then here's another picture of the cover as well, with Pinocchio and Jimmy Cricket sitting together in the village, the show. There was once a kind man named Geppetto. He lived in a little house with his goldfish, Cleo, and his cat, Figaro. Another friend, Jimmy Cricket, lived in the house too. See, in this version, Geppetto already knew Jimmy Cricket and already lived at his house. There's Geppetto, Jimmy Cricket, Figaro, Cleo, and a little cuckoo clock, and many different other things. Geppetto could make wonderful things out of wood. One day he made a puppet that looked just like a boy. He called the puppet Pinocchio. How I wish Pinocchio was a real boy, he said. It would be fun to have a son. And here's a good fairy heard Geppetto's wish that night, and she came to his house. When everyone was sleeping, she touched Pinocchio with her wand. Suddenly, the little wooden puppet came to life. As you can see, you can have Geppetto here thinking about the dream, Pinocchio, and Figaro right there too. And here they are sleeping, and the fairy making Pinocchio come to life. And what did Pinocchio do first? He tried to take Cleo out of the goldfish bowl. No, no, Pinocchio, cried Jiminy Cricket. Put the fish right back. The noise woke up Geppetto. He could not believe his eyes. There was a wooden puppet singing and dancing. The old man was so happy, and he hugged Pinocchio. My son, he said, my own little wooden son. So, in this version, he just takes Cleo out of the bowl, which is not like the original where he just sets the whole place on fire. No, I'm not kidding about that. Anyway, yeah. And the other one, he also tripped on some stuff. Would give a little whistle to wake up Geppetto. Geppetto wanted to cook breakfast for Pinocchio, but there was nothing to eat. Let me go out and buy some food, Father, said Pinocchio. My, what a good boy you are, said Geppetto. The old man gave Pinocchio some money and a list of things to buy. Geppetto was not so sure that Pinocchio was a good boy. I will just follow him, he said, and see, he said to himself. As you can see, he sees no food in the cupboard for Pinocchio to eat for breakfast. And then here's him going off to get the food. In this version, he does not go to school. Instead, he just goes to get food. We'll see what happens in this one. Pinocchio walks happily down the street. He smiled at everyone. Everyone smiled at him. It was fun to be out in the big world by himself. A boy named Lampwick was also out by himself. Lampwick was not a good boy. He told stories that are not true. He even stole things when Lampwick saw When Lampwick saw Pinocchio, he said, "Ha! I bet I can trick that wooden head." See, in this version, he calls him wooden head instead of Geppetto. You'll be seeing that more often throughout the story. We could see Pinocchio skipping merrily across this village, and then here is Lampwick just sitting there, thinking. "Hi, friend," said Lampwick. "What do you have there? Money?" "Money," said Pinocchio. "I am going to buy food." "Why not buy candy?" said Lampwick. "It tastes better." No, Pinocchio, don't listen," cried Jiminy Cricket. Pinocchio paid no attention. He followed Lampwick to the candy store. "Where did you get so much money?" asked the lady in the candy store. "My father gave it to me," said Pinocchio. "To buy candy?" said the lady. "Yes, to buy candy." This was not true. Suddenly, Pinocchio's nose started to grow longer. He took his candy out of the store as fast as he could. "See, here's Lampwick," saying hello, showing him to the candy store. Then buying it, his nose starts to grow right there. "Let me hold the bag," said Lampwick. "It'll be safer with me. I'm bigger." Pinocchio held out the bag and the candy. To his surprise, Lampwick grabbed it and ran away. That was the end of the candy. "What happened?" asked Jiminy. "Where is all your father's money?" "I lost it," said Pinocchio. Right away, the nose grew still longer. "He didn't not lose the money," said Jiminy. "You used it for candy. Well, at least take what is left and buy the little food for Geppetto." See? Lampwick takes the candy away and letting him hold it, then you see his nose getting longer and longer. Lord Jiminy Cricket helping out too with the money. Another similarity to this one is that Lampwick does not go to Pleasure Island. He just tricks Pinocchio and takes his candy instead. Well, leaves the nightmares for the children anyway. Little cute me could not handle that. As he walked towards home, Pinocchio held the bag of food in front of his face. He did not want anyone to see his long nose. A sly old fox and a thin, hungry cat were hiding by a bridge. "Look at that little wooden head," said the hungry cat. There's a sack of food. You can see Pinocchio right there with the food, and then you could see Honest John and Gideon right there. And in this version, the cat talks, which I didn't notice until now. That's interesting. Not only that, but they call him a wooden head too in this version. They don't take him. "Hello, my fine lad," said the fox. "You look like just the sort of boy who might want to go see a puppet show." "A puppet show?" cried Pinocchio. "Oh, yes, I certainly would. How can I get it?" "I have a ticket said the fox. "If you give us your food, I will give you my ticket. That is your sack of food, isn't it?" "Oh, yes," said Pinocchio. Another lie. His nose got longer. Another lie. His nose grew longer yet. But he didn't care. He had his ticket. As you can see, they're giving his food, saying hello, and he gives them the ticket for the puppet show. And you can see it right there, even though his nose grows longer. A line of people were waiting to get into the puppet show. They got mad at Pinocchio when they bumped into them with the long nose. "Better not tell any more lies," said Jiminy Cricket. You already have too much nose for a puppet your size." Here's Jiminy Cricket and Pinocchio's long nose with all the people bumping into him. Again, the puppet show. Step up, called the man waiting at the ticket stand. Pinocchio stepped up to give the man his ticket. "This is no ticket," said the man. "This was a piece of paper. Go away, little boy, and take your long nose with you." Poor Pinocchio. He had no money, no food, no ticket. He sat down on the box and began to cry. Just then a man peeked out of the tent. The man was Stromboli, the puppet master. As you can see, there is the man, Pinocchio giving the ticket to him, getting yelled at, and then Stromboli finding him crying. My, said Stromboli, "a puppet without any strings. Can you do anything but cry, little puppet?" "I can dance and sing," said Pinocchio. "Show me," said Stromboli. Pinocchio danced. He sang. He turned cartwheels. He even stood on his hind legs. Wow, pretty talented, isn't he? Then Stromboli showed his puppets to Pinocchio. He pulled their strings, and the puppets kicked their feet. "You don't need any strings," said Stromboli. "Come with us. You will be the star of the show." Don't listen, Pinocchio. Go home to Geppetto," said Jiminy. But Pinocchio did not want to go home. He wanted to be the star. The show started, and Pinocchio began to dance. "Look, no strings," he called. Everybody cheered. But the other puppets had strings. Pinocchio's long nose got caught in those strings. He crashed to the floor. Everybody started to laugh. Suddenly, Pinocchio was very unhappy. He was not like to have people laugh at him. "I am not sure of a great star, after all," he said. "Not just a great star after all," he said. "I want to go home to Geppetto." "Oh no, are you going? Oh no, you're not going home," said Stromboli. "You belong to me now. This bird cage will be your home, my little long-nosed friend." I forgot to show you some of the pages. So here's Pinocchio dancing with Stromboli, with the puppets. Here's him falling over, and then him crying. Here's him dancing again and showing the puppets. Jiminy Cricket telling him to stop. On his long nose still. Here's his moves. Singing cartwheels and hind legs. Stromboli clapping. Seeing him cry. And then seeing Pinocchio. "Help!" called Pinocchio from inside the cage. "Let me out!" But the puppets could not help. They could not move unless someone pulled their strings. Jiminy could not help either. He was too small, but he could not help. Here's the hidden Mickey with the lock on it. Here's Stromboli putting him in the cage, and then here he is in the cage with Jiminy Cricket. Jiminy ran quickly to Geppetto's house. Geppetto, he called, "You must come save Pinocchio. Stromboli, the puppet master, has put him in the cage." "My poor little Pinocchio in a cage," said Geppetto. The old man followed Jiminy down the dark street. He was carrying a lantern in one hand. There he is trying to go save Pinocchio, running off in the dark with the lantern. Then here he is talking to Jiminy Cricket about where he is in the house. See, unlike the movie, he actually goes and tells, unlike the other one where he just says, "That would be snitchy if I go tell his father." They found Pinocchio in his cage, in Stromboli's tent. "Don't worry, my son," said Geppetto. "I will help you." He opened the cage and lifted Pinocchio out. Suddenly, Stromboli came running. "Thief!" he cried. That's my puppet." "Run, Pinocchio!" shouted Geppetto. Pinocchio ran. Geppetto ran too. But the old man did not see the open trunk. He fell into it. Aha, now I have you, shouted Stromboli in a troubled voice.